Dear viewers, I welcome you all to my new channel, The World of Least Explored Phenomena. We already had many videos on paranormal topics, that is, parapsychology, wherein we had studied in detail about the least explored phenomena, that is, about telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, psychokinesis, and life after death. That is, what happens after we die. These are subjects which are bizarre in nature and are least explored, and parapsychologists all over the world are trying to find out the causal aspects of these phenomena. We had made 4 videos on this, and I hope you must have enjoyed them. In case you have missed them, please go to my YouTube channel and view them, and I'm sure you will like them. Now, in this series, which we are on today, we are talking about a phenomena which is not paranormal but is taken from our day to day life. That is workplace management. We all come out from colleges well equipped with knowledge in the field of study that we pursued in the college, and we applied that field of knowledge into the workplace where we work. We do that, but there are a lot of challenges we face while at workplace, and we find it very difficult to cope up with those challenges. I, for one, who has 45 years of working experience, 25 years of which has been in the capacity of GM, factory operations, has undergone the same fate as my young budding managers and entrepreneurs are going through now. The workplace challenges are immense, and there is hardly any guide or mentor available while we are at the workplace to help us out to meet those challenges. There is hardly any literature on that, and most of us learn the hard way. It is like an infant thrown into troubled waters and asked to swim. He gropes for an anchor but hardly finds any. The videos which I am making now are going to provide that needed anchor to young managers and entrepreneurs who are just entering the work field. These videos are based on the essence of learning which I got in my vast professional career. We are already on to many videos on workplace management, and I hope you must be enjoying them. I hope you must be enjoying them. Today we'll be talking about a particular subject, that is motivation at workplace. We have already covered transformational stages of learning in one's life, and workplace is one of them. We have gone through and understood what is the meaning of workplace and what are different types of workplaces where we go and work. Now we are at the most vital aspect of workplace management, that is managing people at the workplace. People management is the most difficult part and the most important one. If you are able to manage people, you will be able to face the workplace challenges in a very smooth way. It's very difficult to manage people because people are not machines. They are not, there are no ready-made buttons as you have in machines that you press them and it delivers the result. You have to make people work. You have to motivate them. You have to resolve their conflicts. You have to communicate with them properly. There are many, many methods by which you can motivate people to follow your way of thinking and go towards achieving the organizational goals. We have, in this series of videos, we have already covered many things which I'll just talk to you. We have covered, we have already covered many things in this video about the managing the people, and I just recapitulate them. In first video we had talked about leading by example, do what you preach, be critically observant. That is a very important virtue which comes handy while dealing with people. It is a great aid. If you are critically observant, you observe many things which other people do not observe, and that helps you to lead the people in an effective manner. Effective communication is another important vital aspect, and we had one full video on that. Then you must have a good listening capability and must have a firm courage of conviction. You should be able to protect your people, and the conflicts arise in the workplace, which is a natural thing, and you must be adept in resolving the conflicts. We have discussed how conflicts arise and how can they be attended to and resolved in the last videos. In case you have missed the videos, I request you to go to my channel and see 4 videos on the subject. This is the 5th one where we are talking about motivation. A leader must have ability to motivate people. Unless you are having that ability, you cannot take people on the path of organizational goal. And this video is totally dedicated to motivation. We'll be talking about employee motivation. What is motivation? Motivation means the drive or inspiration an individual has to perform at work. It makes a person want to get up in the morning and go to work and be excited to go to the work. When employees are motivated, they are more likely to be productive, creative, and engaged in their jobs. What is the definition of motivation? The psychological forces that determine the direction of a person's behavior a person's level of effort and a person's level of persistence. This is how a person gets to deliver the best in him to the organization. The main things which you see in this definition is the effort, persistence, and direction or goal orientation. Motivation is a mental driver that pushes our behavior actions towards a goal. The term motivation describes what a person does something, why a person does something. It is the driving force behind human actions. Motivation is the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal oriented behaviors. It is a mental driver which locates the need or reason for doing something and creates the feeling of wanting to do something, especially something that involves hard work and efforts to reach the desired goal. The motivation always arises out of human needs. It is the human needs which drive you to do something and create an inner urge in you to do something. Motivation can be internal or can be external. Internal motivation, that is intrinsic motivation, means an internal drive coming from within you for success or of purpose. It is an activity of inherent satisfaction rather than for some separate external consequence. It comes from within. The urge is hidden in you and it surfaces. Intrinsic motivation is doing something because your inner urge makes you feel good. Example may be participating in a sport because it is fun and you enjoy it. But if participating in a sport is for winning a reward or getting physically fit, it is an extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation means doing an activity to attain or avoid a separate outcome, which is external. You will be the distinction between the two will be clear once you see this video, which is about what is motivation. I play this video, just watch. know now what is motivation. And motivation is of two types, that is extrinsic and intrinsic. Motivations can also be classified as negative or positive. If the root cause is positive, the motive is positive and vice versa. For example, a positive urge to climb ladders in your career could induce positive motivation in you to give your best in your job. But a negative thrust or of fear of losing the job could motivate you to work harder. It is a negative motivation because the root is negative. Root is fear, which is negative. Positive motivation culminates in reward and it initiates with an urge to get a reward. The negative motion, the negative emotion emanates from a fear of punishment, and that motivation becomes a negative motivation. Positive motivation correlates with pleasure, and negative motion associates with pain. So these are the types of motivation which you have at workplace. What are the benefits which an organization gets from having a motivated staff? Employee engagement and open internal communication. When people are motivated, they engage fully with their work and deliver their best. There is all confidence around you. There is a good environment where communication is very open and people believe and have trust in each other, congenial atmosphere, and good working culture. If the employees are motivated, they bring more innovative ideas on the table, which helps the organization immensely. Productivity goes up. The people want to be in the organization and they do not move out. The retention of people is quite high. People want to be with organization where there is good motivation and they feel attached to the organization. And above all, good motivated team results in higher profitability. Motivated staff brings in high work efficiency through increased employee engagement, higher productivity, and good performance. There is greater creativity in their work and they are very innovative if they are motivated. Healthy work environment is created through improved manager-employee relationship. If the staff is motivated, they provide better customer service, which is a motto of the organization. Lower employee absenteeism and lower turnover. People want to work in the organization because they enjoy their work as they are motivated. And they would not leave the organization because they get attached to it. And the best of all is the improved bottom line of the company. Company goals are easily achieved. All these aspects are well brought out in the coming video, Just watch.
From the manager's viewpoint, the objective is to motivate people and behave in ways that are in the organization's best interest. Let's take a look at the importance of motivation. Motivation is the set of forces that causes people to engage in one behavior rather than some alternative behavior. Managers strive to motivate people in the organization to perform at high levels. This means getting them to work hard, come to work regularly, and to make positive contributions to the organization's mission. But job performance depends on ability and environment as well as motivation. The relationship can be stated as follows: P equals M times A times E, where P equals performance, M equals motivation, A equals ability, and E equals the environment. To reach high levels of job performance, an employee must want to do the job well, motivation, be able to do the job effectively, ability, and have the materials, resources, equipment, and information required to do the job, the environment. A deficiency in any one of these areas hurts performance. A manager should thus strive to ensure that all three components are met. In most settings, motivation is the most difficult of the factors to manage. If an employee lacks the ability to perform, he or she can be sent to training programs to learn new job skills. If the person cannot learn those skills, she or he can be transferred to a simpler job and replaced with a more skilled worker. If an employee lacks materials, resources, equipment, or information, the manager can take steps to provide those resources. But if motivation is deficient, the manager faces a more complex situation of determining what will motivate the employee to work harder. Of course, it's also important to understand what motivates us personally.
So, motivation is very, very vital and important for the growth of the organization. The question arises how to motivate people. It is an uphill task. People will get motivated if the following things are implemented. First of all, improve the environment of your workplace. Make your business a pleasant place to be. A good environment boosts efficiency. This is personally experienced by me in several factories where I worked. Say, for example, I was working in a glass factory and there used to be visits from the foreign parties, our customers, to our factory sometimes. Prior to their visits, we used to be very enthusiastic in cleaning the environment, making the place look tidy and clean and attractive. And I found that after the visit, for next 3 or 4 days, our production efficiency rose by 3 to 5%. We had done nothing else but created a better environment. Better environment makes people happy and they get engaged to their work in a better way. Same way, I used to notice that during winters our production was higher. Why so? Glass making, as you know, is involving lot of heat. The furnace is at about more than 1500 or 1600 degrees centigrade. And even when the glass being molded in the machine, the temperature is very high. The operators find it very difficult to attend the machines due to heat. And in summer, it is really, really very, very torture. It is a great torture to be at machine and work. So naturally, the attention of the operator on the machine is diminished during summer. But during winter, since it is very cold, people want to remain near the machine which provides heat. And because of this, their attention to the machine is better and production is higher. So you see how an environment is a good motivator to our employees. An employee not only wants good atmosphere to work in, he wants to be treated also in a nice manner. So next step or next tip for how to motivate people is we should be respectful, honest, and supportive manager. Working under a role model always becomes a good motivator. You must offer employees rewards for the good work done. Incentives are good motivators. If people know they will be rewarded for a job well done, they will be more likely to be doing a job in a better way and must will see through that it gets completed in an efficient manner. Provide an opportunity for your staff to grow. If appraisals are good, if people get rewarded for the work done and they find it very fair reward, there is no bias in the appraisals and their career path is assured, people get motivated to give their best and get retained in the organization. They don't think of moving out. We must share feedback, how they are doing. That must be told to them from time to time so that they know that company is engaged with them and wants their future to be better. You should maintain transparency in dealings. Having insight into how the business is going makes your employee more interested in the job. So make it a point to share the data with them frequently. If you offer them flexible working styles like working from home, that also gives them a better facility and they feel more attached to the organization. Provide recognition to achievements. It is not just about the act of recognition, but the principle. If, he, if people feel that they are being appreciated, they will feel compelled to continue working hard. Ask them what they want. You may have frequent meeting with them and you can put them a blunt question as to what motivates you, what do you want, what are we lacking, and most important of all is respect, self-respect of the employees. Praise lavishly in public if they have done good work. Don't be miser in lavishing the praise and do it publicly. Let everybody know it. It gives a boost to the ego of the person who is being praised. But never, never, never reprimand a person in public. If a need arises that a person has to be taken to book, do it privately in your cabin, one to one. Never, never ever reprimand a person in presence of others. If you do so, the real impact is lost because the person feels that he is being stripped naked in the public and he loses the basic importance where he lacked and his urge to improve will go away. It is a great demotivator. Never do it. How to motivate people is a uphill task, and I think I covered most of them, but still it will be more clear if you watch this video.
What's the drive? What is it that drives employee motivation? More specifically, what is it that causes an employee to want to do his or her job? After all, the answer to these important questions are the key to the motivation of employees and employer happiness. And even more important than knowing what it is that motivates an employee is whether or not this motivation is something that will cause an employee to go through the motions of doing the job or instill actual desire for a job well done in the employee's mind. The answers to these questions and more are what should always be on every employer's mind if they are to create effective, productive workforces. A lack of motivation is a true killer, as anyone certainly knows. Show me the money or not. Popularized by the movie Jerry Maguire, starring Tom Cruise and Renee Zellweger. Show me the money has become a commonly used term in society. And often, this is the basis for what most people think is at the top of the list for employee motivation. But is it? Naturally, higher pay is never frowned upon. There is not a person in the world that couldn't use more money. Between bills, children, higher education, and personal desires, among many other reasons, money is a factor that can never be ignored. It is a need that we must all have filled. Many companies use money as incentive for motivation. Is this wrong? Not necessarily. Big pay raises and bonuses are always something that a person can use, and these are things that will certainly never be turned down. Cash is a motivator that will always be popular. And if possible, money is always a good choice to use for employee motivation because who doesn't like money? But money should not be the only tool used from the toolbox of motivation. There are many other choices for motivational increase. In fact, many employees who claim money is the only thing that will drive their motivation higher do so because there is a lack of any other form of compensation. This frame of mind adheres to the comments so often heard is, well, they better pay me more money or give me a bonus because I'm sure not getting anything else out of working here. In other words, there sure isn't anything else the employee is receiving that even remotely resembles compensation to increase motivation. Something else. Employee contribution is something that can increase employee motivation. If an employee is regularly able to contribute thoughts, ideas, and suggestions to problems at hand or regular work activities, that is a feeling of accomplishment which goes a long way. It makes an employee feel as though he or she is important and, hence, their motivation is elevated. Recognition is another form of motivation. If all an employee hears is the things he or she does wrong, the opposite effect of motivation will occur. Of course, an employee is going to do things wrong at times. But they will inevitably do things right as well. Let them know when this happens, always. If an employee feels he or she has the respect of his or her peers and colleagues, this is another motivation booster. Stifle negative comments in the workplace. Do not allow employees to talk down to one another and/or drag each other through the mud. Likewise, make sure you don't do the same when other employees are able to see it happen to a fellow coworker. That's bad for morale and only downplays motivation. Keeping an employee in the loop is something else that is important to motivation. When an employee feels he or she is not up to date with what is occurring in the company or their department, that is a message to the employee that says, "You are not important." That's not the kind of message that increases motivation. Keep information flowing to each employee, let them know what the company is doing and the direction it is taking. Stay flexible. Make an absolute effort to ensure your employee is not tied up in red tape. If an employee is not able to solve problems with a degree of flexibility because there are too many company rules hampering common sense progress, an employee feels nothing but frustration. Motivation is not built on frustration. Constant check-in with higher-ups when working on a project undermines an employee's confidence and willingness to think for themselves. It also deteriorates motivation. Make sure plenty of sufficient resources are available for an employee's use. Motivation cannot thrive if an employee is constantly faced with having inadequate resources to do the job. Create a fun and stimulating workplace. Let everyone address each other on a first-name basis or have a casual dress day. Encourage employees to create a work environment that is as comfortable as possible and not so office-like by bringing in personal pictures and things such as plants. For example, this will only promote creativity and, in the long run, increase motivation. Communicate with your employee. Find out what interests them and what doesn't. Speaking with an employee frequently shows that you care about them in more ways than simply wanting them to keep up with productivity. This will increase an employee's motivation as well. Points to remember. Keep these points in mind and motivation will have a chance to soar. Employee contribution is important. Recognition from an employer is a must. Always respect of peers and colleagues. Keep your employees informed. Stay flexible and make sure the employee can avoid as much red tape as possible. Constant check-in with higher-ups only leads to micromanaging and lack of motivation. Make sure an employee has sufficient resources available to do their job. Create a fun and stimulating work environment. Make sure you communicate. Keeping these methods of compensation in mind is what it takes to understand what it is that drives your employee to want to do a better job. They must want to do a better job or the work they do will never be as excellent as it could be. If you are ever in doubt as to what it is that drives your employee, simply ask either in a group meeting or one-on-one. In fact, asking an employee what it is that motivates him or her is a good idea right from the start. Then, you can always be sure of what to provide. All in all, make sure that money. What's the drive? What is it that drives employees?
So, this video also talks about and gives the tips for how to motivate people. Motivation is crucial for an organization. In this video so far, we have seen what is meant by motivation, why it is important, what are its types, and most importantly, what should we do to motivate people. Motivation is very important, and all organizations outcomes depend whether they have motivated staff. We have seen how to spark motivation in people. Talking about spark, I'll conclude this video by sharing with you an important message that everybody, sometime or the other, in his life or her life, gets a spark which motivates actions and become game changers. Never miss those sparks. If you ignore the sparks, you lose an opportunity to excel in your life. I share with you my experience about a spark which came as a good motivator and was a game changer. In my journey, while I was young and passed out of my school, and entered into the college. As an adolescent, I felt that I have now grown an adult and am able to take all decisions maturely. It is never so. All adolescents feel that way. When we pass out from school and enter into college, many things happen. The parental control or discipline gets loosened. You become more free. And this freedom, if is misused, takes you astray in your life. It happened with me. When I was enjoying the freedom which I never enjoyed till I was studying, I was being closely monitored by my parents who were watching all the happenings and were guiding me. But suddenly I found that I am independent, and that independence made me lose my correct way. Till I passed out from school, I had never gone to a cinema theater. Not that I had not seen films. There used to be film screenings in our society in open air where a large screen was put and a person having a projector used to project the film on the screen and all the residents could enjoy. But seeing a film in cinema is different, in cinema theater is different, and I had never seen it in a cinema theater. The first thing attracted me was going to cinema theaters while going to the college. On some days, I used to bunk classes and go to cinema theaters, and on other occasions, when the class or the subject was not to my liking, I used to while away my time with other friends in canteen or enjoy gossiping. Not that I was not studying. Whatever classes I attended, I used to revise those subjects at my home when I reached home. But that, is not sufficient in pursuing higher studies. You have to work harder. I did not realize it then. So, as the days passed and my enjoyment also continued, I reached the time of examination at the end of the first year. The first year exam is a college internal exam. It is not an university exam. I appeared in the examination and naturally I did not do so good. I had a fear that I may fail. It had never happened in my family. In my family, no one had ever failed in examination. Will I be the first to be? In fact, my sister younger to me was a topper in her class. This fear of failing had deep impressions on me. I was sulking, unable to eat, I was sad and extremely afraid. as to the consequences if I fail. Every day I used to pray that this time, God, this time only, help me, and I'll never ever indulge in the behavior as did throughout the year. In my mind, I was resolving that only this time, if I pass out, I will study harder and never come to this situation which I fear the most. The days were passing and my fear was escalating. I was really scared to go and see the result on the notice board on the day of declaration of the result. The D-Day came, and with tremble in my body, I approached to see the result. I was greatly relieved when I found that my name was in the list of successful candidates. Oh God, you have helped me. You have helped me a lot. I thank you profusely from my heart. And I became very composed, and the resolve of not doing similar thing in future was there, but had dimmed a little because I had passed. And then came this spark which was a game changer, and it changed my destiny. This spark was a great motivator which guided me, and the rest is history. It so happened that on the first day of second year, our class teacher was addressing to us in the first class and was thanking and congratulating all of us for having cleared the first year exam. And the next year exam is going to be a university exam. I was doing BSc Honors Maths, and the first year will was a internal exam, but the second year is going to be tough because it is going to be a university exam where you have to excel excellently in your main subject, that is mathematics, but also you have to clear the secondary subjects, which are physics, chemistry, and other subjects, where even if you don't do so well, it does not affect your percentage of marks and result, but you have at least to pass it. And if you even if you fail, then you get another attempt in the third year. Within 6 months, you have to clear those exams. So concentrate on all the subjects, especially on main subject. And he wished us all success in the coming exam in the second year. And then he threw the bombshell. He said, in this class, there are two people whom we have promoted because they were on the verge of failing. We have promoted them with a condition that their progress will be watched periodically throughout the year, and they must work harder because unless they do that, they will not be able to clear the second year. And he gave the names. First was my name, Naresh Kumar, and second was one of my friends. Listening this, I felt as if I have been stripped naked in public. The feeling of shame was much more intense because it was done in presence of the girls who were my co-students. Listening to this, there came a inner voice from deep within me that this is not done. I am going to prove to this class that I am not a failure. I'll prove to this class that I am having substance in me. I'll prove to this class that I am capable. I'll prove to this class that I can be best in them. I'll be I'll work hard from core of my heart I resolved it. This was a spark which changed my life. From then on, I was never missing any lecture, even when in the vacant hours between two lectures, my friends were in the canteen or enjoying the sun bath, gossiping. I was in the library studying. I used to attend lectures, and later on, after the lectures were over, I used to be in library studying, studying, and studying. I concentrated mainly on mathematics because for supplementaries I will have time. I'll have another opportunity to clear them. Throughout the year, this spark kept me maintaining my tempo, and I worked very hard. By the time the examination day came, I had solved question papers which were put in second year exams for past 10 years. I had solved each and every question. I was prepared. I sat in the exam and I stood fifth in the university and second in my class. What a remarkable change that came in me because of the spark provided by my class teacher. Today, whatever I am is because of this spark which was provided by my class teacher. In the subsidiary subjects, when I sat in the exam, there were 10 questions and we were asked to attempt 6. I knew answer of none. I failed in them. But within next 6 months, I concentrated on those subjects, and when appeared in the supplementary, there were 10 questions. We were asked to answer 6, and I knew the answer of all the 10 questions. I cleared those supplementaries, and when final result came of the BSc Honors Mathematics, I was fourth in the university and second in my class. And the rest is history. The narration of this incident to you, young budding managers and entrepreneurs, is recognize the spark, honor it. These sparks will certainly come in your life one time or the another. Don't miss the opportunity. These will change your lives. So with this, I conclude this video on motivation. We'll be covering the following topics in the future episodes. We'll take up the last topic of managing people at the workplace, which is integrity and fairness and consistency in dealing with people, leadership, teamwork and team building, developing and managing systems at the workplace. Please wait for my next videos, which will be uploaded shortly. I hope you enjoyed this video on motivation. If I have been able to enthuse you, my young viewers, the budding managers and the entrepreneurs, if I have enthused you and if you want further reading, please read my book on workplace management. This book is selling on Amazon and Flipkart. Please do buy a copy and read it. It will increase your knowledge base and will act as a guide when you are facing the workplace challenges. I hope you enjoyed my video. I thank you all. Thank you all for listening to me patiently, and please look forward to my further videos which I'll be loading shortly. Thank you. Thank you once again.